Hey guys,
Oh,
what's up?
it's been a minute. Like it really has been a minute.
It actually has. I guess
Um,
it'll be 2 weeks on Friday since we've been here.
yeah, it's been stressful, and like me
Right?
and Hannah have both had like stressful things going on separately, and like we don't want to like force ourselves to live stream if we're not feeling it because then it's not fun for
Exactly.
either of us. So she had a birthday.
Of course.
How was your birthday?
Thank you. I'm 27 now, so I just have to survive this year and not join the 27 club.
Please, please. I have a weird like paranoia about Post Malone joining the 27
Oh my
Club, and it
god.
actually like eats me alive.
Is he
I'm
27 right now?
26, and
Oh
he
god.
turns 27 this year. So I'm gonna have crippling anxiety for 365 days because like the thing with Post Malone is he's like very, very based. Like I wouldn't say he's a Republican, but he's just like I feel like he's honestly a libertarian. Like he just doesn't give a fuck. And so I feel like the government really wants to take him out because he used to go on live streams and talk about like how the government's out to get you, and if there's ever a nuclear war, like there's going to be a nuclear war and you have to live here. And so he moved to Utah and he has like a bunker and shit there. But like he used to publicly talk about how kind of he's like an anarchist and like anti-government, and like he just completely fell off of social media. Like he stopped using it, and I feel like they kind of shut him down. You know, they were like, "Fuck you, Post Malone! Like you
I
can't
didn't
talk."
know that.
So yeah, no, he's so fucking based. Like if you watch his old interviews from like 4 or 5 years ago, like he's so fucking based, and that's why I love him so much. But yeah, I have like this fear that he's gonna join the 27 Club. Like I feel like they're gonna like take him out. You know,
Oh my
like
god.
it just yeah. But you'll be fine. I mean, like not to be a bitch, but like you're not as relevant as Post Malone, obviously. So I think you'll be okay, and you won't join the 27 Club.
Let's hope. But if I
Literally.
do, you have to make sure my funeral is lit.
Oh my god, yeah. I'll give out fun things. This is YouTube. I can't say too much. But I will make sure it's a party, and we'll have fun
Perfect.
at your funeral. I don't want like a funeral that's depressing, you know?
I don't either. It's like it's
Yeah,
already sad enough. Don't make it more sad. Just like party.
right. Like let's just celebrate my life because I know at my funeral, whoever shows up, I want you to be shit faced unless you're like in a sobriety thing. Like be fucking shit faced and just be drunk and party and cry about me. That's fine. But like I don't want my funeral to be depressing. Have you planned your own funeral?
On it. Well, no, not really planned it, but like I've thought about how it would go, and I've started like telling my husband, like, make sure
Right.
people don't
I
come
feel
to
like
me.
that's the thing is you have to tell someone how you want your funeral to go. Like for me, I'm gonna like plan the slideshow and like do everything because it's like, you know, if I'm gonna die, like I want people to remember me how I want to be remembered, and I feel like I want to plan my own funeral. Like why would I not? You know?
That's fair. Just have if I'll write your will, and you can put your funeral wishes.
Oh shit! Okay, well Hannah's device disconnected for a second, so I'm gonna just hold this shit down. But yeah, I have planned my own funeral because I don't want like my mother or my husband to have to like plan it. I feel like it's just very depressing. And so it's like if I can do the slideshow of all of my cute fucking ass pictures by myself and I can like plan it, I think it would be a lot more fun. So I've planned my own funeral. I'm working on it right now. I won't die. I don't plan on dying, but like at the end of the day, it's like you're gonna die. And so I would rather have a funeral where I'm like, you know, hey, these are the pictures that I want like at my funeral slideshow. Because maybe I'm just a narcissist, but I'm like, I'm not gonna be there to see what happens. So I would rather kind of plan it myself and make sure y'all motherfuckers don't use some ugly ass pictures of me. You know what I mean? That's the plan. But yeah, I want to plan my own funeral. Hannah's back, so here we go. It's
Sorry,
just for shit. No, you're good.
I need a new camera cord. I can hear you the whole time backstage. I just can't be part
No,
of
right.
it.
I know, but your camera's really good. Like, it's way better than mine. I'm wearing sunglasses because I don't have eyelashes on today because I was just not feeling like getting ready.
That's
So,
fair.
yeah, now we're just wearing sunglasses and it's fine. But how was your like? What did you do for your birthday? Like,
Okay, actually, this is funny. On my actual birthday was last Tuesday, so exactly a week ago.
yeah,
My parents got divorced when I was like 15 or 16, so like
yeah,
more than 10 years ago. And they hate each other. They refuse to be in the same room together, whatever. Like,
awkward at your wedding, but okay.
yeah, like family functions are not a thing. It's like mom's dad, my mom's
Well,
side, dad's side, whatever.
Jesus.
But for my birthday dinner, I kind of guilt tripped my mom, and they both went to dinner together for my birthday.
Oh,
It was wild. Yeah. For anyone who knows my parents, it's a pretty big deal.
I mean, I don't know your parents, but I just know that like my parents, I feel like the reason that their divorce was easier is because like my dad will still go to like family dinners and shit,
Yeah.
and he will bring his girlfriend, and my mom brings my stepdad, and it's like they're totally civil about everything. There's like no tension, you know?
Yeah.
So, I feel like that makes things so much easier. Like my mom was texting my dad like, hey, you know, Sarah's getting married. She's gonna need money, this and that. And like they were having that conversation. I had nothing to do with it. And so it's like I'm glad that my mother and my father have like a good civil relationship to make things easier for me because I don't want to talk to my dad. But like,
yeah,
you know, it just makes things easier. Like I can't imagine if my parents didn't get along. It would just make it so much harder. So I'm glad that was good. I mean, they're gonna have to see each other at your wedding, no?
Exactly. And that's like kind of, I think this is like the first step. They both offered to help pay for part of the wedding, but they like won't talk to each other about what each other is paying for.
Right.
So I'm like hoping that like going through this process and like starting off with my birthday dinner, like we can start to be one big happy family because
like just you have one brother, right?
I have a one brother and a sister, and they're both younger. My sister's 19 now, so it's like there's no
like just at least get along for the sake of the siblings, the kids. You know what I mean? Like my mom and dad do a very good job about that, about like talking and communicating about things and having no tension. So I think that's good, and I hope that your parents, because if there's some tension at the wedding, like I'm gonna be at the fucking wedding, even if I'm not invited. Like I will be invited, but like I'm gonna just show up and like. If your parents are fighting, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck is happening right now? Like, your daughter is literally getting married. Like, chill the fuck out. It's not her fault that y'all can't get along. So chill.
Sarah will be the parents' referee.
Literally.
But like the thing is too, like my sister's 19 now. There's nothing that they need to fight over still. Like, there's no raising of the children. There's no co-parenting.
Like, you guys right. No one's paying child support.
Right.
No one's doing that. So it's just like long, you know? It's like it's not.
And like when I start having kids, like I'm not doing like, oh, let's do Christmas with grandpa and then let's do Christmas with grandma. It's like, no. Y'all can figure your shit out or you won't do Christmas.
Exactly. That would just make life so much easier because I feel like so many people nowadays just like accidentally have kids or like later on they get a divorce and it's like, do not have kids with someone that you can't at least like civilly co-parent with, you know, like be civil and understand it's not about you, it's about your kids. So I'm glad that's all working out. I'm glad you guys all went on to dinner. That's great. Do both your parents live in like Oregon?
Yeah, my dad lives in Washington, but like just across the river. So it's close. But yeah, that was part of the reason I like didn't stay in California is because my whole family's here. Like my siblings my sister's in California now, but my siblings were here, my grandparents, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm entering a new chapter of adulthood in life, like with
my God, we both are.
I know, it's crazy. I know. What do you have going on? Tell us.
Well, I'm moving to Missouri in a few weeks. I don't know. Okay, so this is the thing is like everyone's like, oh my God, you and like I've posted about Noah. I've tagged him on Twitter, so like it's whatever. But everyone's like, oh my God, you and Noah like move so fast. And I'm like, honestly though, like we didn't because as we were like, before we even met each other in person, we had discussed like getting married, having kids, like what a future would look like together.
Yeah.
I was not meeting him with the intentions of it just being like a fun fling hookup. You know what I mean? Like when I went to meet him, it was like, this is potentially my husband. And
yeah,
so
I mean, it felt like that early though. So it was like,
yeah, and like you knew, like I had been texting you about him, like whatever. So it's like, as my bestie, like you knew that, you know, it was probably gonna work out and shit. And I was like texting you everything, but it's just like I was not going to meet Noah thinking it was gonna be like a weekend fling. Like it was like, I'm gonna marry this man, or I'm never gonna talk to him again after this weekend. And so when we were together in person, after 12 hours, we were like, yeah, let's just fucking get married. Like, we both want the same life. And we had already discussed, like, everything that we wanted, the future that we wanted together. It wasn't like it was, like, a new thing.
right.
You know what I mean? Like, we had been having these conversations. So, yeah, when I met him in Missouri, I was just like, yeah, I'm going to fucking get married and engaged to this man, and we're going to plan a wedding. And
I love that.
when I was leaving Missouri, we were like, hey, we can't really wait that long to see each other again. So I was like, I'm just going to move. I've been wanting to move out of California for a long time. And I fucking manifested it, man. Like, that's the thing. You can literally attract whatever you want in life. And all I said was like, if I'm going to be on Twitter all of the time, I want to find a husband on this app and I want to move out of California. And I found both of those things. Manifestation is real. And I am so grateful that I could find the person that I'm supposed to be with at like an age where we're both relatively young, but we both want the same future. And so it's just great. So I'm fucking like, as I was at the airport, I was like, I don't want to wait that long to see you again. Like, I want you to fly out for Easter and then we'll drive back together and we'll get married and I'll be your wife. Like, that's the life that we both want. So now I am moving to Missouri. 3 weeks with the love of my life that is, you know, gonna give me babies and shit with my husband, and that's just the life you can manifest if you really want it. So
that's so cute. I love that. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, I mean, it did happen fast, but it's like at the end of the day, when you know, and like
totally,
we don't know what else to say to anybody. Like, people can judge our relationship. Sure, if we get a divorce one day, it happens, but like we're also going to have kids together. So me and him are always going to have a very, very good relationship. Like, you know, like, I don't know why people don't think that you can't just meet someone and know that they're your person and just get married. And so I'm fucking moving to Missouri in a few weeks. And so that's why I've been very busy. I've been fucking planning my move and shit. But yeah, that's it.
Yay.
Yeah.
Well, you'll have to keep everybody posted on how Missouri is.
You know, it's hard because it's like when you go online as like a thought persona, like people don't really take you seriously and think that you can find somebody that actually wants to be with you. But I'm just like, no, like me and him are the same person. Like, that's our soulmate. And when you know, I mean, you kind of knew when you met your man, you know?
Yeah, like, absolutely.
And you can't explain the feeling to other people, but
until you feel it, you can't. People told me the same thing before I met my husband, and I was like, that's such fucking bullshit. Like, that's not real. And then it happened, and it was real. So,
and it's like, why try to like stir up tension in our relationship when it's not there? Like, we know we're gonna be together forever, if not forever. We're gonna be best friends forever, you know? So like, don't try to like start shit that's not there. It's just weird when your life is like online like that.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, like, everybody wants to give their opinion on shit. Everybody wants to act like they know what's best for you. And it's like, you don't know because you don't feel what I feel. You don't feel what he feels. And when you know, and it's just like, shut the fuck up. Like,
yeah, I can't imagine like the beginning of my relationship like unfolding on Liberty Twitter. That's like, that's hard. Like, I just mean as far as like the public, like publicity about it, whatever, not publicity, but you know, people talking or having their opinions, like you said, like that would be really hard.
Yeah, especially with me doing like OnlyFans and me being having the thought persona, and then like me and Noah having like a specific type of relationship that most people don't do. It's like everybody just wants to give their fucking 2 cents.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
annoying.
like, it's our relationship. Like, shut the fuck up. You're not in our life. You don't feel what we feel. You don't know what we know. Like, shut the fuck up. So, I mean, it's fine. I mean, that's kind of what you get for like posting shit online and like being public about shit. And I'm willing to deal with the consequences. But honestly, I feel like more people are supportive than not. So I don't want to sit here and act like everyone's hating. Like, I think most people have been like very supportive and happy for me. So I appreciate that. But yeah, if you put your life out on social media, people are going to give their 2 cents. And it's like, if you can't handle people giving their 2 cents, don't put your life online. So I get it.
Yeah, me too. Totally.
Yeah. So we have a few things to talk about tonight.
We do.
The first thing we have to discuss, because it's hot right now, it's hot in the news, it's hot in the tea. How do we feel about like Will Smith and Chris Rock? I would just love for you to give your 2 cents.
Oh my God. I'm actually kind of conflicted. Like, when I first saw it, I thought it was like a joke. I thought it was staged, but
right.
I think it is based on everything that they've said so far.
Right.
But I think I've almost made a tweet earlier that was like, I don't want my husband if he doesn't smack my name out of somebody's mouth. But then I was like, well, yeah, that's true and funny, but like at the same time, that was like psychotic. Like, did you see the video where before he was like laughing at the joke and Jada
when all of a sudden, that one was weird. It's like all of a sudden he went up and just slapped him, but before he was like laughing about it.
Right. He even laughed at like the G.I. Jane joke, which is apparently what like
which is the one that like triggered her or whatever. And so it's like you were laughing, but then like literally 15 seconds later you were up there like slapping.
Right. And I wonder, like, the camera's cut. He told the joke, it showed Jada and Will. Will was laughing. Jada was not laughing. She looked pissed.
Okay, Jada was not in that video that I saw though. So I don't know what her
I saw one that showed their faces like during the joke, and it was like, Will was like laughing and Jada looked like really mad, like she looked legitimately pissed off. And so I'm almost like, I wonder if Will like looked at her face and then was like, oh hell no, or if she like said something after the camera cut.
I think it was just her face.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to find it.
Yeah, try to find it.
But
I mean, like, okay, my thing is, I do think genuinely that, like, if he was that upset about, because what I've heard, I mean, at the end of the day, you don't fucking know, because these are celebrities, you don't know their life, you don't know what happened, but I have heard the tea that at a rehearsal for the Oscars, that he basically told Chris Rock, like, don't joke around about my wife.
Oh, really?
That's what I heard, yeah. So, like, yeah, that's what people were telling me in, like, a group chat. They were like, oh, like he had said at a rehearsal. And again, you don't fucking know if this is true. But if Will Smith had said to Chris Rock at the Oscars rehearsal, like, don't talk about my wife, and then he did, it's like, well, you obviously disrespected the man at the end of the day. And
he asked you specifically not to, and you did it.
Right. Like, he specifically said, don't make that joke about my wife or whatever. And like, the thing that bugs me is now everybody in the fucking world wants to act like they are a relationship psychiatrist or therapist and like know why Will and Jada's relationship didn't work. It's like, oh, well, Jada was going around fucking other people, like open relationships aren't healthy. And it's like, all of a sudden you all motherfuckers, because these two people are huge, the biggest celebrities, movie stars in the world, every motherfucker wants to give an opinion on their relationship, and they're going to generalize now why open relationships don't work. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you're going to just compare one relationship to everybody's open relationship and act like they're unhealthy and they don't work. It's like, well, they do work for some people.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and so it's like, why? That's what bugs me is like everyone's, oh yeah, play it.
It's just, I'm just showing her.
I've never seen that angle. I've only seen him and then the black girl behind him and then the white girl to the left. I've never seen her.
It's not very, oh, there it is. Okay, there it focused.
Oh, she looks mad.
Yeah, she was mad. That was about he made the bald joke, and that was her face. But like, look, he's laughing. And then like, literally 5 seconds later, he storms up and smacks the shit out.
I think that he saw that she was like genuinely upset about it and was like, pissed. But like that's the thing, like you are still allowed to be pissed at someone making a joke or making fun of your wife's, I mean, medical, like alopecia. Like I know people with alopecia, they've lost their hair in front of my eyes. Like it's a hard thing to deal with losing your hair. You know what I mean? Like I love my hair. I pay $500 to get my hair done. Like I can't imagine if I lost my hair that would be an easy thing. So it's like, if someone makes a joke about your wife, you're still allowed to defend her, even, and that has nothing to do with her fucking other people. Like it's not a related topic.
Right. Because if that works for them and that's how their relationship is, then that's how it is. Like there's nothing wrong with that.
That's just what's pissing me off is everyone all of a sudden wants to act like they're experts in an open relationship and know about open relationships, know what works best for people. And it's like, they can both be in an open relationship and he can still feel upset about someone hurting his wife's
totally
making a joke about that, you know, like
so how do you feel about him actually like physically like attacking Chris Rock?
I mean, you know, I think everything is mostly a psyop, and I do feel like, okay, to be honest, I don't think that this was, I just don't. I mean, the thing at the end of the day, when you're going to call something a psyop, it's because you don't know if it's real or not.
Right.
And I just do feel like looking at the situation, like he could have been very upset about someone making fun of his wife losing her fucking hair. You know, like that, like thinking about my husband, it's like that would piss him the fuck off, you know, and we're both trolls. We both have a good sense of humor, but there's just certain things that you don't want people to joke about on national television.
Totally.
And so I can see where he was just genuinely upset about that. And the other thing too was like Will Smith, like his whole career, he's a good guy. I don't feel like he's really done anything that problematic, like at all. And so I feel like if this is the one thing that he did, like that's fine. You know, he was defending his wife. Like, shut the fuck up. It's fine if he wants to defend his wife.
Yeah, all these people, it was like, I think arrest Will Smith was trending. Like that's ridiculous. That's like that's like another level of I don't know if it's virtue signaling or what it is, but like violence isn't okay no matter what. Like yeah, I agree, but like he doesn't need to be arrested. Like that's
ridiculous. I mean, they can work it out. They both have so much money that I don't know why everyday average, you know, middle class people like us are getting involved in Chris Rock and Will Smith, who are both like millionaires, thing that they want to work out. Like they can work it out. I just think that it sucked that it happened on like national television. I mean, you just have to remember at the end of the day, like these people are still people, and you know, sometimes they're gonna get upset about shit. And I just don't like that everybody is blaming Jada, being like, oh, she broke him, like because they're in an open relationship. It's like, well, you don't know if that's why he was that upset about it. Like maybe he just really genuinely loves his wife and didn't want people to be fucking talking shit about her. I'm like, that's fine.
Period.
So that's just, it's like, I think it could have been a genuine reaction and he was just upset. And he's been such a good guy. Like he's been in some great movies. I think he's a great actor. I'm not going to cancel Will Smith for defending his wife. Like, I think that's stupid.
And like, also, I just put myself in the situation and like, if she's been losing her hair and it's something that's obviously really sensitive for her, like, obviously, if I lost my hair, I would lose my fucking identity. It's like,
same, yeah.
And like, if you're going through that and you're upset about it at home and you're, you know, coping however you cope at home, your husband is the one who sees that. He's the one who's there supporting her, making her feel better when she is breaking down crying about losing her hair. And so he sees that stuff that other people don't see. And so of course, if someone makes a joke about it and she's visibly upset about it, he's going to be like, oh, hell no, because he's supported her through the entire thing.
Right. And that's just like, at the end of the day, I think people feel a right to judge everyone's relationship in life when they're a celebrity. But it's like, these people are still normal people and they're just doing their job. And unfortunately, the entire world is watching them do it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just like, I don't know if I can say that perspective as like, you know, we're kind of, I don't want to bring like followers into it, but like we in the liberty world community, like we have a certain, you know, like people know who we are.
Yeah.
And so it's like we hang out with these people that everybody looks up to. and then they're just normal fucking people.
Yeah, totally.
You know, like they're not anything special. They're just doing their job. And so like I have seen it from a perspective where it's like people like fangirl over these people in the Liberty community, but it's like at the end of the day, they're just still normal people. And when we're hanging out with them, we don't see it as like anything special. And that's like so that's why I can see like Will Smith and Jada being like, they're just still normal people. They just happen to act in like $1 million movies. And so like they're allowed to have problems and get emotional about shit. They're not perfect.
Right. Totally. And people like also, it's a weird American thing mostly that people like put celebrities up on like a pedestal or like they like almost look at them as like some sort of figure rather than just a person. And it's like, yeah, some celebrities sought that out and they want the fame and the, you know, whatever, they want people to know their name. But like for you and I, like I got a Twitter account and it happened. Like it just, I gained a following and I didn't, it's not necessarily something I meant to do. So it's like, I'm just a person. I might have a lot of people who follow what I say, but like at the end of the day, I didn't ask for this. I'm not asking for people to put me on a pedestal or view me in a certain light or like think that I should be some like role model. I don't want to be someone's role model. If people can look up to me, then great. But like, I'm not living my life trying to like be a role model.
You're not
I
like
don't think they are either.
Everything that comes with the fame. And that's why I feel like people put like Will and Jada on a pedestal and be like, oh, because they're married, they have 2 famous kids. Like Jaden Smith tours with like Justin Bieber, you know, like their kids are very famous. So it's like they put them up on like a pedestal being like, oh, they have to have a perfect relationship. And it's like, well, you're not in the place to judge their relationship because like at the end of the day, a majority of married couples or couples who have been together for a while are going to have problems or they're going to be swingers. Like that's the other thing a lot of people don't understand too. Like, I'll just be honest and say it. Like me and my husband are in the like swinging community and you would be surprised at the amount of people that are like swingers and don't talk about it. So it's like, how are you going to say that that specific issue is like what's fucking up their marriage? There could be totally, because there are so many swingers that are happy and healthy doing what they do and enjoy it, and it makes their relationship better and stronger. So it's like, how are you going to sit there and say that that's the cause of all the problems? And it's just like, when it comes to celebrities, people think they can know everything and voice an opinion, and that's fine, voice an opinion, but that doesn't mean that everybody else doing the same thing who's not a celebrity is in that situation.
Right, exactly. And like honestly, it's nobody's business. Like what people do in their bedroom or whatever, like if they're in a relationship and that is the terms of their relationship, like it doesn't matter what anybody else says or their opinion or whatever. Like it's just no one's business. It's
and I feel like so many people are talking shit on Jada. 1, because she's a woman. 2, because she was fucking around with August Alsina, who's like a famous rapper. You know what I mean? But like, you don't know who Will was fucking around with. Will could have been having side hoes who were like very, very low key, don't post about shit, paying them, prostitutes, whatever. Like, you don't know what Will was doing. So everyone just wants to blame Jada. But it's like, you don't know if Will was also doing the same thing and just it didn't come out as publicly. So it's like, don't fucking only attack her. Attack both of them. Both of them were in an open relationship, and people want to act like, oh, Will didn't want to be in it. But it's like, you don't know that. You don't know their fucking relationship.
Totally.
Stop acting like you know everything. You're fucking annoying.
Agreed.
So I think my final statement is, if Will was defending his wife, that's fine. You have to look back at his entire career. He is probably one of the least problematic celebrities that has ever existed. He doesn't get into beef with people, drama with people. If God forbid one time he got someone, was upset about someone offending his wife and he wanted to pop off, that's fine. I don't see an issue with it. The only problem is it's on national TV, because imagine if like he was not famous and that happened at a house party, nobody would fucking care. But it happened
so no one would care and no one would know about it. So
people want to give their opinion and say shit, and I think it's fine. I'm not going to cancel Will Smith for fucking popping off on someone defending his wife. I would hope that my man would defend me in that situation. So that's all.
Yeah, I agree. And
Yeah.
my only ad is mind your own fucking business.
Right. It's like,
What?
you people don't fucking know celebrities. Like, I mean, they have a life that's out there for you to talk about, sure, but like, you don't fucking know them. So stop acting like you're superior for having a different type of relationship than them, or, you know, this, like, shut the fuck up. You don't know shit. That's all. So we have another thing that we're going to talk about tonight.
Do I know what this other thing is?
Yes. So do you watch football?
No.
Okay. I love the NFL. I love football. So much. I think it's so fun. Like, people are like, oh, you're a pick-me girl for the NFL, but it's just like, I was at one point hanging out with a dude who loved the NFL and the Raiders, and I was like, okay, I kind of like this shit. Like, it's cool. I started watching NFL. I was going to move to Texas, so I became a Cowboys fan, and I just picked the Cowboys, and I stuck with it because, you know, I love the Cowboys. So I'm pretty into the NFL now, okay? But they have just made a new rule on their, you know, NFL fucking rules. I don't really know how the NFL works that bad. I'm not trying to act like a pick me. I love the NFL, whatever. Like, I don't really get it. I get the rules of football, but like, I'm not that into it, whatever. So they have just made a new rule that every single team has to hire either a woman or a minority on their
Fucking ridiculous.
That's it, their coaching league. Okay. So they have to hire either a woman or a minority on the coaching league. And I'm just like, I get the NFL is trying to be like woke as shit, but as like someone who is a fan of the NFL, like, I got my fucking Cowboys shirt on tonight because I knew that we were going to be talking about the shit. Like, I love the Cowboys. I'm a diehard Cowboys fan. Love the Cowboys, whatever. Like, if I found out that the Cowboys had hired either a Black, Mexican, Asian, it doesn't matter, a minority or a woman over hiring, God, I'm just gonna sound so fucking racist on this fucking podcast. But if I had found out they were hiring one of those people over hiring a white man who would have made my fucking team better, I would have been a little upset about that. You know what I mean? Like,
totally. That's crazy. And it's, oh, I have so many thoughts about this.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Being a minority and a woman for any job, knowing that I only got the job because I'm a minority and or a woman over someone else who was equally as qualified, but maybe they liked their personality more. But I got the job because I'm a fucking token Asian. Fuck that. It is racist.
It is racist.
And like, that's crazy. Like, that's crazy. You got the job because you're a minority or you're a woman, and that's fucking bullshit. And like, the woman thing, like, football is not a woman's sport.
That's
Women
what I'm saying. Like,
football.
okay, yes, football is a man's sport. I love watching the fucking men. You know, on every Sunday, NFL Sunday, I sit there, I watch my Cowboys. I'm like, oh, Dak Prescott, my little quarterback. Like, I love my men doing the football thing.
Right.
You know, like, as a football fan, I know and I understand that it's like a man's sport. So I'm like, if you have to hire somebody to be a coaching assistant just because they're a woman or because they're a minority, when my team could be fucking better if that person wasn't on the staff or if a white person or a man got hired, I'm like, well, fuck you. I want my team to fucking win. And that's just what's like, you know, because like, I think that's my thing is because like, I'm a white person talking about this. It's like, oh, you're going to get canceled, whatever. But it's like, I love my Cowboys. That's it. Yeah. And so if I knew the Cowboys could hire somebody that was a white person that would be better for the job, I would want them to hire that person.
Totally.
And there's 32, I want to say 32, like I might be wrong. Again, I'm not a huge NFL, whatever. I watch the game Sundays, whatever. I think there's 32 teams. All 32 teams are now required to hire either a minority or a woman.
That's so ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like so stupid, right? It's like, well, why don't you just hire people who are fit for the job?
Right. Like, why do we even have to make it about gender and race? Like, why do we even have to like introduce a quota? Oh, it literally is like, oh, you have to have the token black guy or the token Asian or like the token fucking Mexican. Like that's for why? For what? Like the NFL is already very diverse. The people who play in the NFL, hello, it's a lot of black guys. So
no, it is. Yeah.
Why do we have to force this like weird inorganic, like, oh, you need X number of minorities or X number of women? Like, that's just bananas.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know how far they're gonna take this like woke shit. You know what I mean? It's like, you just have to understand at the end of the day, there are certain races and certain people that are going to be better at a specific thing than another race or another genre or race of, like, I don't even notice that, like, of people.
Demographic.
Like, you are Asian and you're very smart. You're smarter than me statistically. Like, that's just a fact. Like, Asians are probably just generally smarter than me, and that's fine. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and like hate on like Asians for being like smarter than me or better at me than something. And then I will also look at like black people and be like, okay, black people are probably better at basketball, football, and twerking than I am. And that's fine. There's like zero issue with that to me. I don't know why everybody has to try to act like race is not a thing in some situations. And I think that's just what like annoys me, is it's like, you can't hire people specifically off race when obviously some races or groups, you know, races geographically of people are going to be better at some things than others. Like, as a white person, I know where my weaknesses are and I'm okay with that. And that's fine. Like, why do we have to try? Like, I don't know. Again, like, I always fucking come on this shit and say, like, I'm trying to educate myself and understand if I'm wrong on something. But it's like, if, you know, if we're just hiring somebody because of their race when they're not a better qualifier for that specific thing, like, why are we doing that? That seems racist to me.
It is racist. And as a fucking minority, it is racist. If I got hired because of my race over a white person and that was the only reason,
right,
that's bullshit.
Right.
And like I'm just like thinking of a different way to like frame this to like just highlight the absurdity. So like, this is obviously for the coaches. Think I would be willing to bet my next paycheck on the fact that white people are a minority in the players, in the what makes up the players of the NFL. So what if they started saying, oh, well, the white people are the minority in the NFL, so you need, every team needs 10 token white guys, and then the rest of them can do whatever they want. But like, you have to have that number of white people because they're the minority. And so they're just flipping that and saying, okay, well, most of the coaches are white, so they need to have this little quota of minorities on their coaching staff. It would be no different than saying you have to have a certain number of white people on the team, which that's fucking crazy. Like,
yeah. And that's like my thing too, is like, as someone who watches like, you know, the NFL and the football and like, oh, love my NFL Sundays, whatever, watch the Cowboys. It's like, you can obviously see statistically that black players are more on the defensive team than the offensive team. And you have a lot of quarterbacks because physically they are smaller and faster as white people on the offensive team. And then you have your defensive team that are like big black guys, and that's fine. There's no issue with that.
Right.
But like, the thing that is like, why are we trying to make it an issue to say that certain races are better at something than other races? I don't see that as an issue, because how many white people on a You know, you just don't. And so it's like, why is that a problem though? Like, we can obviously say that Black people or whatever are better on a defensive NFL team than white people. And that's just a fact, because you can look at the fucking players on the team and see that. And I think that's fine. I don't know why we're trying to make that like an issue, to like say that some races are better at some things than others.
Well, I think it's more of like how I look at it, like with the NFL and like with big companies that do it for, you know, they have to meet their, oh, we have this percentage of minorities in our employees or whatever. Like, I literally think it's a virtue signal so that they can wave the statistic around of, look, we don't just hire white people, and like, oh, we hire this percentage of our employee base is minorities, whatever the fuck that means. Anyone who's not white. Like, I literally think it's just so that they can say, like, that, look, we do care about minorities because we hire this many of them. Like, I don't think it's for any other reason.
And that's why it's like, why is it so 70% of players in the NFL are Black? It's like, why is that race? Why is that a problem? Why can't we just accept as a society that Black people are better fucking football players and defensive players than white people? I don't see that as an issue as a white person. You know, like, over 70% of NFL players are Black. That's fine. I have zero issues with that. Like, why is that a problem? I don't.
Well, it also probably means that a large portion of this, like, coaching staff are Black too, because a lot of players, when they retire, they go on to coach. So, like, you're already hitting your minority whatever box if you have Black.
That I could say might be false. So I know that there, because like my husband is super into the fucking NFL, and he was explaining to me before that like coaches and owners of NFL teams are a majority white. And so I can see where that would be an issue, but to like, I don't know, like that's where it gets confusing, is because it's like, are you specifically going to hire these people because they're Black, or is it because they're better at the job? Because you don't want to just hire a Black. I don't think a Black person would want to be hired over somebody that was more qualified just because they're Black. I don't think that would make them feel good. I don't think that would do anything for the team.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's how I feel too. Like, if I was hired over a white person just because I'm Asian, that would make me feel like a pity, like you're throwing me a bone because I'm Asian. Like, that's it's not it's not an empowering feeling. It doesn't make you feel good. It's like, you got this job because of your skin color. So how is that not racist?
And there's only like 2 Black head coaches in the NFL. There's 32, I think I said, teams in the NFL, and there's only 2 Black coaches. So I can see where that like looks racist and is maybe racist if the Black people are more qualified. But at the end of the day, like, as somebody that sees the world in like not a racist way, it's like, we'll just hire whoever is the most qualified. And if that's not about, I just feel like it's like weird to make a rule that like it has to be a Black or a woman, or a minority or a woman. Like, I don't know if that's going to help NFL at all.
I think that's where the like virtue signaling comes in. Because if it was just like, if they truly were like, okay, we're looking at our coaches, and what, I'm making things up, but whatever, 85% of them are white. This is a problem. The majority of our players are Black. This looks like a power imbalance, whatever. They should have the conversation internally where they say, okay, we're going to make an effort to, you know, if there are minority coaches who are qualified for the jobs, we're going to do that. We're going to hire them, and we're going to, you know, make sure that they're the right person for the job, but we're going to make an effort to do that. And they should have that meeting internally. The fact that they're making it a rule and they're broadcasting it to the world, oh, we're going to hire this many women or this many minorities, that's where the virtue signal is. Because they can make that business decision and have it be a private business decision.
Right. It doesn't have to be like a virtue signal.
Exactly. But that's why it is a virtue signal, because they're just,
even if you watch the Super Bowl, it was like on the Rams helmets, it was like, end racism. And it's like, okay, well, what the fuck? At the end of the day, how are we going to actually end racism? By writing on the Rams helmets, end racism? Like, that's not going to fucking do anything. It's just like you have to like find the line of like what is virtue signaling and then what is actually going to help minority people get jobs in these industries. And is it because they're not getting the job because they're a minority, or is it because they're not qualified? And that's why it makes like a weird, you know, it's like you can't really divide that line sometimes, especially with the NFL. It's like you get the best of the best. You get the best coaches in the NFL in the world to coach for the NFL. You know, so it's like, where do you like find that line of, oh, it's because they're a minority or a woman, or because they're actually qualified?
Well, and I would think too that it would like almost devalue that person coming into the job. Like, okay, you're a woman, you get hired as the token woman because it's in the rules. You're walking into a sausage fest of male coaches. They're not going to fucking take you seriously. They're going to be like, oh, this bitch is here because the NFL wrote in the rule book that she has to be here, but she doesn't. What does she have to offer? It's not like you're getting hired for the job because you're going to bring something to the team, or you have the respect of the other coaches and they're going to listen to you and you have insight. Like you're literally getting the job because you're a woman, and that's going to translate to how people treat you in the job.
Right. I just feel like everyone is going to see them as like a kind of like a charity case. And like, that's what I like. I want people to just be hired because they're qualified, not because of a certain. And I do think there's problems with like the ownership in the NFL. Like a majority of the ownership is from like white people. And I do think that could be like a problem, because like owning an NFL team, you have to have like a lot of money and like whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I think that could be a problem, but I don't think specifically hiring a coach or adding a coaching position in just to give someone a job is good for anyone.
No.
You
because
know,
that person is not going to be taken seriously. And so then really, what is the value of adding that person? If they're not bringing anything to the team because no one else is really listening to them and they're just there to make people look good, then they're not going to feel good about the work they're doing. They're not going to feel respected in their job. Like, it's just like, oh, yep, here she is. She's on the sideline because we pay her to be here, but she doesn't do anything else.
And I'm just like, I don't care. Like, I don't want a woman to be in the NFL. Like, I feel like an NFL is a man's game. Like, let the men play the sports bowl. I don't want like a woman coach just to, you know, like, I'm not about that. As someone who loves the football, I'm just like, no, don't hire a woman. I don't want it to be a woman's game. Let it be a man's game.
Yeah, totally. I agree.
Well, I mean, the NFL went woke, so
it did.
That's going to be a fun thing to see the next Super Bowl season.
I'm going to go read more about all this shit now that you've told me, because I haven't read any articles or anything.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, I've been trying to like keep up because I like watching the games. I don't really care about the off season, but yeah, it's kind of wild. So we'll see if we have to talk about the subject again, maybe understanding more of the situation. But from what we've heard, it's just like, don't hire people based off their race or their sexual identity. Like, that's
no. Agreed.
Well, thanks everybody for coming to our stream. We also will be streaming from here on out on probably Tuesdays. Yeah. So we will be doing Tuesday nights. So feel free to come and join us. Yeah, Fridays are just a little difficult right now. So come hang out with us on Tuesdays, but we will still be streaming every Friday or every Tuesday. We'll still be streaming this Friday. Just one last time. So
one last Friday, we have a special guest. It'll be fun. We're going to talk about trans women in sports.
Yeah, it'll be a good debate, good topic. So come hang out. But thanks everyone for joining. And
thanks, guys.
On Friday.
Yeah.
Bye.